Hey guys, welcome to Sci-fi Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para conan abrir. Sci-fi Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos no Facebook, subscribe no YouTube ou na plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde que está. Sci-fi Studio, powered by Credits, botou ideia? Credits educava e prepara a abo para vir um empresário exitoso. De business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100 mil florim. Vira para mês donho com Credits. Subway. Passa na Subway para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba. Nós está cerca de Ibo. Subway. Swing Masters. Organizando events, conferences of weddings, Mr. de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of flat screen, Swing Masters está claro para ser boa fiesta éxito. Swing Masters. E agora, Sci-fi Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba está apresentar.
Good afternoon. I recently woke up.
You recently woke up? Good
Yeah,
morning, good
yeah.
morning, good morning. If you just woke up, and
Yeah,
good
yeah.
afternoon if you're an early bird. And Happy New Year, our
Happy
first
New
show.
Year's.
Let's give our thanks to our sponsors.
Subway, Eat Fresh. Thank you for allowing the podcast to stay alive. Swing Masters for the amazing lighting that we have in here. It makes it look professional. And Credits.
Yeah, and credits, not Q credits.
Not Q credits or not Q credits.
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 Okay, so welcome to 2022, guys. And so Jean-Luc, how did you experience December 2021 and the year? What'd you think?
It was a very, compared to the other 21 Christmases
Year
that I remember,
zero in 2020.
it was much more uneventful, but not in a bad way. You know,
Right.
more like everybody was very busy and COVID started getting rampant, so there wasn't as many dinners and everything, and less eventful than the other years, but still nice.
Yeah, and I think we're in good waters. Aruba's doing well.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: that even though we have a highly contagious disease going everywhere, we're all protected, and the statistics are pretty good. We didn't have to close down, and we're moving into a new era. And I'm pretty excited about 2022. How about you?
Pretty much, yeah. There's a lot of great stuff coming in.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff coming in. Tech Impact is going to get a little bit more aggressive. We're going to be having great teams coming in and great partnerships. For example, by the next show, I'm going to talk about productivity software that I've been experimenting with. And we're just going to take Tech Impact to the next level. And just so our listeners know, Jean-Luc and I, we love technology. We love the impact of technology. And to be honest, for us, every Saturday, it is a fun thing for us to do. It's for us to get together here and talk about things. And
Yes.
it's totally integrated in our system. And today, I wanted to keep things light. I wanted to talk about give Netflix recommendations, pretty much.
Netflix recommendations.
Netflix recommendations, yes.
Arcane.
Yes.
Arcane.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll segue straight into Arcane. But before we even go there, when it comes to movies and tech, we can approach it many ways. So obviously, there's the sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
So science fiction, and what I think is attractive from a science fiction standpoint is, does it spark my imagination? Does it transport the viewer into a new world? Does it present interesting concepts that are not far-fetched in a way, like a mind-bending kind of story or supernatural, right? What I think is always interesting, does the science fiction movie make me think about things as a person of technology? And I do want to mention, I have another one on my list that is not science fiction, but is presented in the modern world. And I'll get there, but you go first. And another thing about technology is, CGI, the cinematography, the technology that was used to create that experience is also of interest. So I kind of want to come back to this theme of movies and entertainment, because it is kind of what we do nowadays, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. We ourselves are entertainment and media on an online media platform, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. And we're content creators.
So meta.
And here we go. We'll get there. Metaverse.
No, not metaverse, but as in meta, as in like self-awareness meta.
Gotcha. Well, before we continue, so Netflix, what was it? What is it?
What was it?
Do you know some Netflix history?
The only thing that I remember being mentioned to me was that it used to lend out DVDs.
Yeah.
That you could order movies from them quite literally, and it would get delivered to your house and everything.
There you go. You got it.
Okay.
On the money. You're on the money. Netflix was one of, I mean, in Holland, I used to subscribe to music CDs per month. And they would send you these CDs. So it was a mail order business kind of thing. And what was the biggest franchise in America for watching movies?
Blockbuster.
What was the biggest franchise on Aruba to watch movies?
No idea.
Marathon.
Yeah, that's
Marathon.
Beyond me.
Yeah, for us boomers and all my age groups and older, yeah, we used to go to Marathon. There was one where the subway is, by the way, Subway in Palm Beach used to be a Marathon, and you would go in there, and I would always bring the videos late. Yeah, and you have to rewind it and send it back. Yeah, so can you imagine for a guy like me that used to rent videos a lot, now has a platform that for $8 a month, unlimited streaming, right?
Yeah.
Another interesting tidbit is that Blockbuster just didn't have the right CEO. He didn't see that as the future. They missed that boat to transition from location-based business towards online streaming. And I also want to do another note, is that if it wasn't for Napster, we wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, enough of that historical facts. Let's talk about your suggestion, Arcane. What is it?
Arcane, what do you mean by what is it? What type of it's a series.
Explain Arcane.
It is a steampunk-esque fantasy series.
You go ahead, buddy. You go ahead. I'm not going to correct you. I don't know. I'll give you my spin.
It's while the technology is not a major focal point of the series, it is actually a series that came from the game League of Legends.
Right.
Which I play predominantly. Don't play League of Legends. The series itself is surprisingly amazing and award-winning, which came to a surprise to pretty much everybody who watched it. What makes Arcane so amazing is the animation, I would say cinematography, the writing, the characters are very, very real and profound, and just the how it is interconnected, how everybody connects to each other in some way, form, or another to build this complex story is quite beautiful to watch it unfold before you.
Interestingly, as any parent can imagine, I get a lot of suggestions from Jean-Luc, and he told me, "Papi, you need to watch Arcane." And then of course in our COVID December, and where a lot of stay-at-home happened, I was kind of tired of things, and I took a shot at it, and I totally second that. Excuse me. Arcane is one of the most creative, artistic, daring series I've ever seen. When it comes to animation series, it's probably right now in my number one.
Wow.
Number one.
Wow.
Only thing I know of League of Legends is because I have interest in the gaming industry. I've never played it.
Esports, yeah.
Esports. I do know that one of the biggest competitions in the world is League of Legends.
Yeah, Worlds.
League of Legends has also been blamed for a couple of overplaying people that have been, in South Korea.
Yeah.
But it is one of the biggest, most televised competitions in the world. And you don't have to know anything about that to watch Arcane and enjoy it, right?
Definitely, yeah.
The what you were talking about, let me frame it a little bit further. The storytelling, the character building is done in a very, you will relate to the characters.
Yeah.
They are very interesting and deep, and they develop.
Yes.
So character development, it's one of the best things ever done. What I love about Arcane is that if you're used to any anime, really, if you watch more than just American media, and you watch, for example, Korean, and you watch a little bit of Japanese, and you watch French, the narrative of good and bad is not clear.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that they're highly complex, and it touches on sociological themes, and they even touch upon how the world we live in now is sort of mirrored in the world of Arcane.
Yeah.
Where the battle, the upward mobility and quality of life and politics and war and the emotions and good deeds that turn into bad actions. So if you want to watch a great series, and if you appreciate art, you'll have to watch Arcane. If you appreciate cinema, you have to watch Arcane. And if you just are simply bored and want to try something new, watch Arcane. You won't be disappointed. Who's your favorite character? Because we cannot spoil anybody. Because now, obviously, there's one favorite character all across the world. Right?
Yeah. For me, it must be Silco.
Silco. Okay. Well,
and I can't explain why.
For those that understand that have seen it, Silco is one of the main antagonists of the story. For me, as somebody that did not know League of Legends well, of course, for me it was Jinx. Jinx is highly colorful.
Yes.
Oh, and the acting is amazing. The voice acting. I mean, if you enjoy watching Batman, the animated series that has great voice acting, the Joker has been done for years by Mr. Hamilton, Luke Skywalker, the actor of a lot of people don't know that, but the Star Wars main actor is an amazing impressionist and an amazing voice actor, and he's been in that field for many, many, many years. So yes, so our first recommendation, and we will put this on our Facebook link, will be Arcane. Go check it out, and let's continue forward. So I have a second one. I have a second one. I'm gonna pull up my list for a second. I did some research this morning.
Arcane is so good as it is the sci-fi exception. We'll make an exception.
Well, it is. There's a lot of science fiction in there, but it's almost magic, right? But there's tech in there.
There's tech,
And but the fight scenes are crazy. The animation,
the music. There
is nobody that will say, "Oh, that was just bad." By the way, the IMDb rating is 9.2.
9.2,
and that's never an accident, because I think it appeals. When things have low ratings, they can still be good movies, depending on you. But when it across the board as a 9.2, you're falling in the ranks of The Sopranos, Goodfellas, the everything over 9 on IMDb is spot on. I want to give a very interesting one. It's called Searching.
Searching.
Yeah, Searching is a movie that was released in 2018, and the director is Anish Chaganti. I do not know much about the director, but it does star John Cho.
John Cho.
Yeah, and John Cho was
Let's hope we're not butchering these words.
No.
These names.
It's John Cho. He is best known for Kumar and White Castle. I think I forgot the name.
Oh,
that comedy, you know, it's a sort of a Cheech and Chong comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the Asian-looking guy.
Oh,
Right. And he's done some amazing progressions in his career. He's sort of like what's his name again from Truman Show? The Truman Show.
Sandler.
The Mask. Ace Ventura. What's his name again?
Dafoe.
No, that's Willem Dafoe.
Oh.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
Jim Carrey.
So Jim Carrey started as a comedian, and later on, I consider him a method actor.
Oh no,
right?
he's amazing.
He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
He's he's kind of even scary, you could say.
He can be.
Yeah, he can be. Well, I think John Cho did the same thing. He really developed. And let's go to the movie. So Searching is the story of a father looking for someone.
Oh,
But
he's searching for someone.
But the amazing thing that they did is they really presented it. So when you're experiencing the movie, you're going to experience social media in a very cool way. So the presentation is done super creatively, and where the phone nowadays, if you're looking for things and you can get access to phones, there's amazing information in your phone. You know, he becomes his own detective.
Oh.
Right? And with plots and turns, I don't even remember it that well, but what I have to mention is that living in social media is a new dimension.
Yes.
And they combine that very well with a classic I need to save my daughter story. Right? I need to save my daughter. And there's complex themes in there. And what I love about that movie is that you experience with him the process of doubt.
Yeah.
And so I highly recommend Searching. All my recommendations are available right now on Netflix without a VPN. So you can just go watch it. And these are available for the Aruban community.
Not sponsored by Netflix.
Not sponsored by Netflix. I wish. I wish. Do you have any story, social media story that you can think of at the moment?
I don't remember what it was called, but it was that one movie where these multiple people, these families, all of them were like profoundly affected by social media, both in negative and in positive ways.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
We watched it. Yeah,
We watched it. I forgot the name. Yeah, there's some cool stories. We'll do something extra about that. But let's segue now to the sci-fi. Your sci-fi recommendation and series can be included.
Black Mirror.
Oh yeah,
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. We've talked about Black Mirror before. I always get depends who I talk to.
Oh, yes.
I get but that's super weird, man. I can't follow.
It's not for the lighthearted. It's
I do feel if you're an experienced science fiction person, you can deal with there's science fiction out there that hide narrative a bit or kind of wants you to guess what's going on. It reminds me, now we're talking, I don't even have that on my list. There's this movie called The Box.
The Box?
The Box.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Okay, yeah.
And I'm going to give you the plot because it's not going to ruin anything. The Box is a story where a couple in the 70s, one of them works at NASA.
Oh. Of course,
right?
Yeah.
In the 70s.
In the 70s, yeah.
Gets presented a box by a very strange-looking man. He's missing half his face.
Oh, okay.
And he gives them a box. And he says, in this box, there's a button. If you press that button, someone will die. You won't know who that person is. But we'll pay you $1 million.
Oh, it's
right.
This. Yeah.
But what's interesting, and it's a sci-fi film. And it is basically a test, right? It's a test to see what are humans about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a great movie, by the way. Go check it out, The Box. But what's interesting, what I learned of that movie is that the scientist says that if you see something and don't understand it, it will be experienced like magic. So high-tech things, somebody that doesn't understand it, it will look like magic. For example, if in the 1640s, you presented a screen that showed a movie to someone that never seen anything like it, it will look like witchcraft. And he says, if we would ever be confronted with technology outside of this world, that could be happening.
Yeah.
So maybe the pyramids saw things, right? And they just simply didn't understand it. Things like that. An interesting story was once that even reading and writing is technology, right? So a priest presented that concept to an Indian. This is in a movie I saw, where he tells the Indian, tell me something in his language, because he knew the language, and he wrote it down, and then he walked over, a couple of 100 meters to another person that he taught how to read, and then he showed him the paper, and he read it, and it was magic. It was magic for the Indian, the other one that didn't know about reading and writing. Because how could you contain information like that? And it's so vanzelfsprekend, it's so for us, but that's the interesting thing about high-tech things, that maybe we'll see something and it will look like magic.
I mean, for the science fiction fans, I'm pretty sure that idea has been spoken about quite often. The idea that eventually tech will become so advanced that it might as well be magic.
Well, the thing is, right now, that's kind of happening all over the world, because we understand technology. For example, I know what a computer does, and I know what a phone does.
Yeah.
But there's going to be people out there that will not know, right? So I saw, for example, an African that was, living in the village and never saw a car, right? And they went on a plane, and that was a shocking experience for them. This is from a Dutch show called Groeten uit de Rimboe. It was about shocking people.
Okay.
But anyway, let's continue. A famous one. What did you think about Elysium?
Elysium.
Yeah, Elysium is a movie starring Matt Damon.
Isn't that the one where he wanted to go to that like better place in the sky, like this wheel?
Yeah.
So I think it's underrated. I think Elysium is underrated. It was a great movie in my opinion. Amazing story, great cinematography, CGI, and interesting characters.
Well, what I liked about Elysium is that it's not a thought-provoking.
No.
It's more like an action film.
Yes.
But I did like that they were kind of pointing the finger at extreme capitalism. Where only the rich get to live in non-radioactive zones.
And have access to
good food.
Yeah, and
because they've taken all the great technology that humanity has and separated it in the sky, right?
Yeah.
And just a note that Jodie Foster, which is always the goody two shoes actress, is now a little bit of a villain. She is the power hungry director of the Elysium community. But
it is not a complex movie. It's not very deep, multi-layered, and profound. But its premise is understandable. It is digestible, and all in all, it's a fun movie to watch, especially if you like the tones of its political criticisms that it has hidden in there.
And what enhances that political criticism is that there's a couple of actors in there that I know from other industries. So, for example, they have an actor called Diego Luna. He's a very famous Mexican actor.
Oh,
right?
Nice,
and I think he plays. On the top of my head, I think he plays one of the technologists. And you also have Wagner Maura, which is super famous from Elite. It's a Brazilian movie where he's a, he's an elite cop, like special ops, fighting the drug gangs of the favelas. But did you know that he's also a judoka?
No.
Yeah. He also,
Nice.
But he's a very, very good actor. He also played the drug lord from Colombia. Forgot his name for a second. Pablo Escobar. Yeah, he played Escobar. And he did, and a lot of people told me they find it irritating because his Spanish is not good. He actually speaks Portuguese.
Oh.
But what I do like about him is that he could present this really evil version of Pablo. But anyway, the cast is very interesting. What I did like in the story also is there was this interesting villain in there, like the hyper military guy. He made the movie for me.
The
with the
military
robots, the bodyguards. So that's the sci-fi aspect that's interesting, that they have this, these automated bots, not AI, they're Autobots, you could say. Roll it out, pun intended. But they are there to protect, the VP that came down.
And the body modifications and everything. Yeah.
But now I want to get to one of my top sci-fi movies of all time.
Interstellar?
No. Interstellar is great. It's a great experience, but I cannot watch it twice. It's too mind-bending. We were just talking about that. What's great about Interstellar? Let's go to Interstellar. Interstellar showcases really the issues of the vastness of space.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
to cross these oceans of distance, you're actually warping time.
Yeah.
And if you're folding things and coming back, and they present it in a way that when you come back, and he experiences 10 minutes, and then 60 years go by.
60 years gone.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, and it shows some of the naivety,
naivety.
Thank you, of our storytelling sometimes.
Yeah,
and if you're really faced with the issues of quantum physics and time. Yeah, so Interstellar, but I cannot enjoy it. It gets me in another place in the evening. I wanted to give to you Deus Ex Machina.
I was going to say that as well. I was going to. That was my next recommendation. Yeah. Deus Ex
it's just Ex Machina
or Ex Machina.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So Ex Machina,
a horrifying movie.
Is it?
In my opinion, absolutely horrifying.
Why is it horrifying?
It's an AI story, right? It's an AI story of an AI that is just too smart, But the premise of it is horrifying. But that's also a spoiler, right? But AI movies in general is scary. Terminator has been overdone, right? Skynet, overdone. It's probably coming. There's probably going to be one foolish tech person over there somewhere is going to try to make Skynet. But in general, the premise of AI is horrifying to me.
Well,
especially
in every single great science fiction story, we understand that we're tied to our own programming, right? Our programming is biological love for the next of kin. Our immortality is in our children and our children's children, and on it goes.
Yeah.
Right? And it makes us human, right? That programming with all its faults. And we understand that AI could detach itself from that. And they can become a whole new organism. So, for example, the whole Dune saga from Frank Herbert talks about the Butlerian jihad, which is going against the machine. And this is a story that goes on and on. But let's go back to Ex Machina. So Ex Machina, to you, is horrifying. It is horrifying if you're the human being.
Yeah.
But what I love about Ex Machina, one, great cinematography.
Yes. Beautiful. The CGI, whoa.
Yeah, and it's very subtle.
Yeah, extremely.
Right? The interesting thing is that Ex Machina comes from a saying called Deus Ex Machina.
Yes.
Once upon a time in my old band, we had a song called Deus Ex Machina, right? And I'm gonna quote now from my DuckDuckGo search.
Not Google.
not Google. Deus Ex Machina, an unexpected, artificial, or improbable character, device, or event introduced suddenly in a work of fiction.
Yeah.
Right? And
This used to be
that's
done.
that's the most spoiler I'll give, is that remember the title when you watch the movie, and remember this saying, Deus Ex Machina is when we're programmed to watch movies a certain way,
Yeah.
right? A movie's narrative is very comforting.
Uh-huh.
There's certain things that you expect not to happen. That's what made Game of Thrones great.
Yes.
There were like these, but he's a good-looking hero, and he's awesome, and then boom,
dies.
gets kills off, like life.
Yeah.
Right? And Deus Ex Machina is when things shift, and Ex Machina is the story of testing the AI, but it wasn't. It's about deceit.
Plus the three characters were extremely interesting, in my opinion.
Absolutely interesting. And to be honest, the dumbest one of all
Was the hyper genius.
no, not at all. He just got surprised.
Oh,
You could see that what's interesting, it's a manipulation story.
yes.
It's a story of people manipulating situations for their own gains, right? Everybody. And what was the test called again?
The Turing test.
The Turing test. Yeah, so that's another thing. That's a real thing. When people try to test the artificial intelligence, and to pass the Turing test would mean that you cannot distinguish that it's an artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
But then we're trying. But another funny thing about that is they're supposed to be intelligent like us, like individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They could
there's
lie.
one flaw there. That are they supposed to act like they're human?
Yeah, that's
And that's the weird thing.
That's the modern fault.
That's the modern fault. And I think artificial intelligence, right now, we want them to be Android-like and copies of us, right? But anyway, Deus Ex Machina, go check it out. I want to say something about the director. Wait, I have it right here. 1 second. Yeah, here we go.
Beautiful scenery, even though it's extremely isolated.
Yeah,
I just realized, now that I'm thinking back to it, everything
Yes.
was isolated.
Yeah, a couple of notes. So Oscar Isaac is one of my favorite actors. He's in Star Wars. He's in Dune. He's in. It was a rough year, I think it was called. He's a enormously talented actor. A pleasure to watch. If he's in the movie, it's probably going to be great. Alicia Vikander, very great actress. If you like her in this movie, go look at her other movies. She's got some great ones. And Domhnall Gleeson is actually also in Black Mirror.
Oh.
I will refer to the episode. The episode where the boyfriend dies and the girlfriend orders an android version of him. That's him. Remember now?
Nice.
You remember?
The universe loves irony.
Yeah, but he was probably selected because of that, or the other way around, right?
Yeah.
Because he could play. By the way, he's really tall. Oscar Isaac is really tall as well. Okay, so, but I want to go to the director, Alex Garland. Alex Garland, this was one of his, breakout projects.
What a breakout.
Yeah, it was. He has more. And I'm going to move on to the next recommendation. And this one is hardcore sci-fi.
Tell me.
This is the kind of sci-fi movie that will freak you out. Because the first time you watch it, you won't get it. It's like, what is going on?
Ghost in a Shell?
Kind of like a little worse than Ghost in the Shell. Because it's a little bit worse.
What?
It's called Annihilation.
I've heard about Annihilation. Oh.
Annihilation.
You would consider that a sci-fi movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you even know what happened?
I do actually. I needed to watch multiple videos about it.
Okay, so Alex Garland, I'll give you some movies. He actually did 28 Days Later.
Oh.
Right? So as a writer, he was a writer. Let me pull out his... he also did Judge Dredd as a screenwriter.
Judge Dredd was the modern one?
Yeah, the modern one,
Yeah,
2012.
That was great.
He's done video games like Devil May Cry, Ex Machina. He wrote the screenplay and directed, and Annihilation, written for the screen.
No, Annihilation but Annihilation is supposed to be a horror.
Well, of course, because there's some gory scenes, right? But what I love about Annihilation is that it is the example of the box.
Yeah.
So when, for example, there's a sphere. In this sphere, they don't know what it is. People go in, they don't come out.
Yeah.
And then you're the second team that goes in. You know who's in Annihilation? Oscar Isaac.
Nice.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac goes in there, and Natalie Portman is one of the protagonists. But they go into a sphere, and in this sphere, very strange things happen. And then the first thought you have, it's supernatural.
Oh yeah,
Right? It's supernatural because there's a bear elephant, there's a bear tiger. There's a person that opened up into the wall.
Yeah.
And basically what's happening on a cellular level, things are being changed.
Yeah.
And once you start looking at it that way, you start understanding it a bit more. And that's the example of superstition versus knowledge.
Yeah, because we don't understand how it's
You don't
happening.
if you see someone turn into a tree, right?
That's pretty
supernatural.
Yeah.
Right? That's magic. That's beyond comprehension.
That's divine.
But the story in the end will explain to you, and I'm going to spoil this one. So if you don't want to hear it, stop right now. They understand that in this sphere, the laws of physics change. All laws as they know it are void.
Yeah.
So everything we know about quantum physics, everything we know about energy, everything we know about DNA and molecules does not apply anymore. And that's when interesting things happen, right? And the ending is really scary.
But in the end, it's life finds a way.
What do you mean?
Life finds a way. Because in all of those creatures, all of those beings could be viewed as superior in a way, right? And they were meant to thrive and survive and just adapt to the environment very quickly. It is equally beautiful and horrifying because in the movie itself, it showed a lot of very beautiful things. Some butterflies out there, some beautiful plants and flowers that were mystifying and everything. And then we have the bear.
Yeah, exactly. So out of chaos comes beauty, because if you even think about it, gold happens in a supernova.
Yeah.
And we have gold on this earth, right? So let's continue. If you want to shift towards something really light, a light science fiction that has monsters in it, but it's scary, but in a fun way, Love and Monsters.
You mean Death, Love, and Robots?
No, it's called Love and Monsters by Dylan O'Brien, director Michael Matthews. It's a movie, let me see the year, starring Dylan O'Brien. And it's basically what would happen if the world suddenly had all these dinosaur-like huge monsters that we can't militarily fight.
You mean kaijus?
You didn't see this movie?
I didn't see this movie.
Love and Monsters, it's great.
Oh,
It's a story of a weakling, having to fight his way to save his friends in a world that is totally hostile. Imagine going back into Tyrannosaurus Rex days, but they're very interesting animals. And it's super fun, great storytelling. The imagery is great. It's not dystopian really. It's a world full of life, except we're not the boss anymore.
Yeah. It's
right?
it's dystopian for humans.
No, well, dystopian usually is a world void of life, void of options. But this one is full of life, but we don't have dominion anymore. Yeah, I'm watching myself at the corner here. Yeah, we're on a screen on top.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots is
That's
the equivalent of Matrix Revelations. By the way, Matrix is out, by the way. The new one.
I heard it's bad.
It's bad.
I heard it's bad.
It's let's make a bang for your buck.
I guess, yeah.
Oh man, come on, Keanu, man.
I've seen
Stick
a lot
to
of,
John Wick, bro.
I've seen a lot of memes of people comparing the two fight scenes, and one is like really cool, like badass kung fu, and the other one is just. That's the joke. They do this. I don't know what this is, but that's the.
Well,
fighting.
that's the Street Fighter, energy ball.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh God.
No,
All
Love,
right.
Death and Robots. It's episodic, just like Black Mirror. So each episode is its unique unique story, and different animation studios make.
Oh,
it.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. All the stories were very, very interesting. Some were very deep. Some were much more lighthearted. Which one was your favorite?
I think he's sort of like a dragon, like a lizard.
The one where the giant creatures fight each other in an arena?
No. No, one of them becomes a creature.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while.
Okay.
That's the only. I think it's been 3 years since I watched that.
wow,
So
wow.
and they were short. They're 20-minute. They're 20-minute stories. It's like an anime. Okay, but let's continue. So we've got those. That's a great series, but you'll get through it quickly, right? I'm gonna give now a light science fiction story, which really transports you in this world, which is called Passengers.
Passengers.
Yeah, Passengers is starring. Let me give his name. Here we go. Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh,
Beautiful,
Yeah.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Which is could be considered a sci-fi movie. And Chris Pratt.
Oh.
And it's a story of a ship that is, crossing, a big, deep, black ocean to another world. And they're supposed to be sleeping. And then what happens is they're supposed to be waking up at a certain point.
And they
then
woke
everybody
up after?
No, and what happens, Chris accidentally wakes up alone on the ship.
Oh.
And the ship is in crossing. And he woke up and he can't go back.
Oh.
And he's stuck alone to live alone for the rest of his life.
Damn.
Yeah.
Isolation.
Yeah. And he does something very selfish. He wakes somebody else up. And that story unfolds. So he wakes up Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, wow.
And hides the fact that, he just didn't want to be lonely.
Oh, wow.
And that story unfolds. But it's let's call it a sci-fi dramedy. There's funny moments, but it's very dramatic.
Yeah, of course.
But it's kind of cool because it's interesting when he wakes up that he's in this spaceship, and then how he gets his food, and there's autumn, and there's even a robot at a bar.
Oh, I've seen this movie.
Passengers. Yeah, it's very good. Andy Garcia.
I was imagining just like this tiny little space shuttle. No. It's like a mall. He has like an entire.
Yeah, he
mall
wakes
to
up in a space mall
yeah,
alone,
yeah.
and there's nobody.
Yeah.
He was supposed to wake up with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Even people that it could match.
Yeah.
Right. So they did the pre-matching, right? And then he kind of fell in love with someone, and then he somehow tried to he got her out without telling her. And anyway, the story unfolds.
I remember my favorite scenes was him talking to the bar robot, and
the bar robot was good.
Yeah, and it sarcastically replied, "You are talking to an AI and seeking for comfort. You know this, right?" And so
Oh man, yeah. Let's ruin the fun,
So
Okay, here's a couple. I got 2 or 3 more, and then I think I'm gonna close the show. I told you it was gonna be a long one.
Oh yeah.
So we got Stowaway.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, not at all. Not at all. So Stowaway is a crossing. I think they're going to Mars. Yeah, but that's different. That's different because okay, since you're doing that, I'll explain the difference. So Stowaway is a story of somebody somehow was not accounted for and ended up in the mission.
Oh, they were the stowaway.
He accidentally somehow
Got it.
was stuck in there, and something happened that an extra crew member. There were 3 members that were going to Mars, and it's a science fiction expedition. Here's the problem: doing these things require calculating payloads and energy, right?
Yeah.
And what's great about this story, it's really dialed into the amazing engineering required and calculations. And most astronauts have PhDs in many things.
Yes.
They are the best in the world
Yeah.
to even attempt to become an astronaut, right? And in this story, she's a great actress, by the way. Anna Kendrick. She's the funny one. She has all the YouTube of Anna Kendrick. She's a little bit awkward, right? But she's super fun. But very deep story. Story about sacrifice and meaning, right? And why people do these things. Why do people climb mountains? Why do people become astronauts? Great story. A little bit slow. But if you enjoy science fiction and like I do, as in it could be a slow burn. This one is what they call a slow burn, but it's so tense, and the humanity in there is really present. Last one for today. Actually, I have two two newer movies. One is called Tau, T-A-U, which is the story of, and she's also a really cool actress, an upcomer, Micah Monroe as Julia. Gary Oldman plays the voice of the AI. And this is a story of an inventor that invented software and has a case study at his own house. So he's got a hyper intelligent, I guess, home management system. That's based on an AI. And that AI kind of evolves.
Isn't what that reminds me of Her.
Yeah, well, Her is an operating system, right?
Yeah.
And so it's also a little bit there, but Her is a love story.
Her is it's
with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a great movie.
That's sci-fi.
That's a great recommendation, but it's just not on Netflix right now.
Well,
right?
Her, guys,
Her, super cool movie. Imagine falling in love, and people do it all the time. You fall in love with somebody that's not in front of you. Fall in love with something that's on a screen that just talks to you.
I hate the ending, to be honest.
Of course, well, you hate it because she evolved beyond the interest of...
Spoiler.
Okay. All right. Okay. Another good one is Upgrade.
Oat Studios, an amazing sci-fi studios that has posted a lot of sci-fi stuff on YouTube for free. You could just watch their videos.
Yeah, so Oat Studios
Amazing.
starts off with the sci-fi goddess Sigourney Weaver. Who's Sigourney Weaver?
No idea.
Alien. She's across the board, every single movie. Sigourney Weaver. She is the sci-fi warrior. My favorite Alien movie of all time is actually Alien 3. And there's also one, I think, called... Because the thing is, her story is always fighting the aliens, right?
Yes.
And in one of them, she actually has one in her, right? And there's also one that she has been cloned. She's like she's half alien.
Half xenomorph?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And she says she's scary, but she's more human, and very interesting. But Sigourney Weaver is also in Oat Studios.
What movie?
No, the first one. So in Netflix, if you go to Oat Studios, the first episode of the alien takeover of the world where they're terraforming.
That one.
That's Sigourney Weaver. She's the captain.
You can watch it on YouTube, guys. It's available.
Well, it's also on Netflix.
Okay,
anyway.
Amazing.
It might have been a little bit hectic, guys and ladies and gents and sci-fi enthusiasts out there. If you're there, I hope maybe I gave you something new. If you're like me, I'm always looking for a good sci-fi. There's also a new one called Mother Android. Pretty interesting story. Not the best of the best, but I enjoyed it. It's the story of a world a world of butlers, so androids that were helping the world, and then they of course rebelled. And they tried to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anything else you want to say before we go?
Thank you for our sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah, Subway, Swing Masters, and Credits for allowing the shows to be here. All of the recommendations that I could think of have been recommended.
And when we close down the shop, I'll be putting all the IMDb ratings. And have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thank
See
you for
later,
watching.
guys and gals.